Message from Starfleet Command, top priority.
You are listening to the TrekRanks podcast, a member of the Tricorder Transmissions Podcast Network. This is episode 164, featuring the top 5 Strange New Worlds Season 2 moments. Welcome, Star Trek fans. I am Jim Moorhouse. I'm the host of the TrekRanks podcast, and tonight we are doing another season recap show. It's the 13th time we've broken down a new season of Star Trek since 2018, and I couldn't be more excited to talk about what is now one of my all-time favorite seasons of Star Trek. Spoiler alert, it is. It simply is. It's the top 5 Strange New World Season 2 moments. And why are we singing? It's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of that today. Hopefully, my guests will join me a little bit in the singing. And we have 2 amazing guests joining us for the great topic, Exploring Strange New Worlds. First up, he's making his 7th overall appearance on TrekRanks tonight. But actually, it's his 8th because we're going to have a temporal inversion. He's going to be on our live show from Vegas that we've already recorded. That's coming in a couple of weeks. But currently, this is number 7 as the calendar rolls. It's our friend from Internment Camp 371 on an asteroid in the Australia expanse. It's Jamie McGregor. Welcome, Jamie.
G'day, Jim. And thanks for the invite to be on an episode of TrekRanks focusing on what surely everyone agrees is one of the best seasons of Star Trek ever. Like, what a sensational season it was. So great. Very happy to be talking about it.
Okay, you haven't sung yet, but we're going to hold you to it. So, second up, hailing us from the original Northwest Passage in the Washington State sector. It's her first time on the show after responding to our survey calibration request that we sent out a couple of months ago. It's Paige Thatcher. Welcome, Paige.
Hi, thanks. I'm so excited to be here.
I can't wait to have you on and talk about Strange New Worlds. So, Paige, for our first time guest, I'd like to get a quick Trek origin story to kind of see where your Trek story started. So what is your backstory on Trek? How'd you get into it? Or have you seen it all? And what's your favorites? Let us know.
Sure. So I started off with the original, thanks to my dad. He's a huge Star Trek fan. And in the mornings before work, he used to watch reruns while he was eating his breakfast. So I would catch like the end of a lot of episodes. And I remember the first time I was ever like truly affected and interested was at the end of Amok Time, where I knew enough about Spock at that point to know that his reaction was not normal to Kirk being alive. And that really drew me in. And so, my dad and I watched all of the original series together. I started waking up early before school to watch the reruns with him. And we watched everything. We watched TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. Some of those we had to literally go to the library and rent one season at a time to be able to watch them.
People have no idea how difficult that was back in the day.
I know. But we just had, it was a great way for us to bond growing up. So I love that me and my dad both love Star Trek. So, That's awesome. I watched all the new stuff. I am a completist. I am a huge, huge fan. And so excited to be here.
Awesome. Okay, if you had to pick one series, what would be your favorite today? You could change tomorrow.
It's got to be Deep Space Nine. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Right. The usual response, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But no wrong answers. All right. Going to be an awesome show. Let's get into our quick TrekRanks recalibration.
You can recalibrate the regulators now.
Will do.
Okay, the TrekRanks Charter has 2 clauses. 1, we rank Trek so we can have a fun conversation about Star Trek. And 2, the ranks don't matter. We just use them as the framework to have a deep dive conversation about all the things we love about Trek. And as the Vulcan Master likes to tell us,
infinite diversity.
In infinite combinations.
There are no wrong answers at TrekRanks. This show is about sharing the things we love about Trek, and we love it all. From TOS to TNG, straight through to Enterprise, and the Kelvin timeline, now Discovery, Picard, Strange New World, Short Treks, Lower Decks, and Prodigy as well. It's all fair game here on the TrekRanks podcast.
Black alert. Black alert.
And a reminder that this episode of TrekRanks is current through the conclusion of Star Trek Strange New World's amazing 2nd season and the episode Hegemony, that That's 893 episodes of Star Trek across the past 57 years.
Hailing frequencies open.
Thank you, Mr. Worf. You can hail me directly on Twitter at TrekRanks or at Enterprise Nextra, and you can see our extensive rankings of all the Treks at TrekRanks.com. And don't forget, you can call and leave us a message with your own picks at 609-512-LLAP. That's 609-512-5527. Okay, Jamie and Paige, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you on Subspace. Jamie.
On X? Do I have to say that?
No, you can say
Do
Twitter.
I have to say that?
Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah, right. I'm at JMac_ref, REF, and also now on Threads, Jamie_MCG.
Okay, and Paige, how about you?
I am at Power of Math on the same.
Okay, and all right, we're gonna run our diagnostic cycle and get into today's show right now.
Computer, run a level 2 diagnostic.
All right, as always, we are using our TrekRanks matrix to break it all down. So this week we're not picking just 5 random items that we want to highlight as our top 5 moments or episodes or whatever. We're categorizing everything a little bit to break down Strange New World Season 2. So in round 5, if you heard us before, we're doing our favorite production design element. That can be anything like your favorite ship or a prop or costume or score or anything. Round 4, we're going to choose our creative MVP. So it could be an actor or someone on the production team, whoever you think's like the MVP of the season behind the scenes. Round 3 is the Dabo round. It's a complete wildcard round. You can pick anything you want. Round 2 is your favorite character, and then round 1 is clear as what we do on TrekRanks. It is your favorite episode of the season, and then we'll get a few secondary systems picks for some of our outliers. Okay, let's get into our Prime Directives now.
Do they know about Prime Directive? They know everything I know, sir.
And you're about to know everything we know about our Prime Directives. So, Jamie, let's start with you. How did you define your picks and finalize your list?
Pretty simple, really. I haven't done a season recap show before, so all of my previous, whatever it was, 7 appearances have been general topics across all of Trek. So with this one, I'm taking it completely face value, just what it says. And, maybe in the future I'll get more tricky. And for the secondary systems, I've got a second pick for each category.
Okay, awesome. And Paige, how about you? Your first Prime Directive?
Yeah, I just did a full rewatch over the last few days, and I had to narrow down some of them. Some of them it was hard to choose, but some of them it was pretty clear which one I needed to choose.
So you just went with your gut.
With my gut.
Yep, I love it. Okay. And then usually for me with these recap shows, I start looking at the picks that let me cover the most ground, the most episodes, so I can pack as much as I can into them. And then I always look back at previous seasons so I don't repeat myself. So I'm not picking Melissa Navia or Nyota Uhura tonight as part of my creatives or character picks. And I'm also not picking visual effects. That was my production choice last season. And I'm staying away from Spock's Love Life because amazingly I picked that in season 1 when it clearly would still be a great pick here in season 2. Note to self, I am not staying away from Spock's Love Life. That will feature prominently in my picks. So that is my Prime Directive. All right, let's get into it. Third Ramadaclon, introduce us to the order of things.
I am a Jem'Hadar. He is a Vorta. It is the order of things.
Thank you, Third Ramadaclon. As always, we'll start with our 5-word summary and a hashtag to tease our picks, and then we'll each reveal our choices for our Strange New World Season 2 moments and the reasons we're highlighting it. And of course, we'll pick one episode to associate with that pick. And after getting through 5 rounds, we'll get a few secondary system selections from everyone. And remember, if we have any duplicate picks, make sure you listen for the Defiant Torpedo. Okay, Jamie, we're starting with you. What's your number 5 pick? Top 5 Strange New World Season 2 moments, production design element.
Okay, 5 words. Slow burn before classic homage. Hashtag gore gone. I think I screwed that up. I'm going to try that again.
Do it again, and then maybe I'll leave it in.
Hashtag gore gone. And my pick is the production design of the Gorn. And yes. I'll pick hegemony for that, obviously. And I to be honest, I wasn't 100% sure about the design of the Gorn through watching season 1 and then into season 2. And I saw the Ready Room with Will Wheaton after Hegemony, and I was just kind of captivated by the decision they've made to take their time with the hatchlings, the younglings, and now they've built up to the adult Gorn. And I am tickled pink by the concept of the fact that in Arena we had a guy in a rubber suit, and 56 years later, it's a guy in a rubber suit. And I just absolutely love that they have paid homage to that particular character in that way, yet they've been able to do to update it, but pay respects to what the Gorn was originally. And now, having seen the different takes on the different ages of the creature, we now see an adult Gorn that is much more like what we saw previously. And I think there is going to be more to the story in part 2 of the cliffhanger. So anyway, my pick is the Gorn. I love what they've done with it, and I'm excited to see what happens when the cliffhanger resolves.
That's the beauty of it too. We don't even know how it resolves. I love this pick. This is so good. And not only did they do a guy in a rubber suit, but they did a Gorn and a guy in a rubber suit, and they did the slow motion fight again, because it's in zero G.
Zero G.
So it's an homage. It's an homage to everything from Arena, that they're actually having this fight and it's slow motion again.
I also love how much they've used practical effects and puppetry compared to just complete CGI. And after the world went sort of too far in one direction, I think, with CGI in a lot of these franchises, to kind of go back to what we know looks better, which I think is the actual puppetry kind of. I just love it.
Absolutely. Paige, what's your take on the Gorn this season?
Wow, they look so good.
Yeah.
And one thing I love that they've maintained from what we've seen from the Gorn in the past is just the amount of menace that they instill, or that they make everyone around them feel. And it's just, wow, it's so palpable. You can see it on the actors' faces. And I mean, just that scene with Jess Bush trying to hide from the Gorn that was trying to get into the computer. Oh my God. I am a horror movie fan, and that scene just struck those horror beats for me, and it was so good.
Oh, that's awesome. You're right. That's such a great call about that scene with Jess Bush in the corridor. Was so well done, where she thinks it's Spock and then she's like easing back. And you said the right word, menace. These Gorn just feel terrifying. And yeah, I love this design. It looks really, really, really impressive. So
yeah, they are scary no matter how slow they move.
Exactly right. Okay, let's go to your number 5 pick, production design. Paige, what do you got?
Sure. My 5 words are Croft, you've done it again. And my hashtag is details are noticed.
Yes.
And it is the costuming throughout this whole season. I love the costumes, and I have a few favorites that I can share. In the Broken Circle, I'm a huge fan of the away mission outfits, in particular Chapel's outfit and Mbenga's outfit. Wow, they look so good and so unique, different from each other. And the Klingon outfits, all the details on those Klingon outfits are just so much fun.
Yeah.
I love the dress uniforms at Astra Perispera, and every single dress that Una's lawyer wears is gorgeous. Oh, wow. I love the matching outfit scene in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. One of us is going to have to change, and it's not going to be La'an.
So smart.
Wow, that was so much fun. And let's see. Oh, charades. Charades is going to be my pick for this, because I am a sucker for some Vulcan clothing. I love T'Pring's dress and T'Pearl's dress. Wow. So incredible with the face framing piece. And
yeah, because she had that high, because her mom had that high neck thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then T'Pring's dress is like a work of art. It's like unbelievable.
So gorgeous and structured. I just love both those dresses.
Yep.
And all of Amanda's dresses as well are just gorgeous. There's a small scene in Charades as well where Chapel, Ortegas, and La'an are having drinks at the bar, and their layman's outfits are so fun. I love them. It's very small, but those were such a cute touch. I have
to check that out. I can't remember. They were in casuals there.
Yeah. It's at the very beginning when she's practicing for her interview. They're such cool clothes. And then I have to call out Pike's green uniform. I am a huge fan of Kirk's green uniform, and I love what they've done with Pike's.
So good. The wraparound.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
The lower decks uniforms from those old scientists.
Oh,
wow. The details on the boots. Are you kidding? They look so good.
and they made them with like, I'm not smart enough to remember what the material is, but it's like some kind of like pseudo websuit material that keeps them straight. So they get that. So they look like they're kind of from the animated world. So smart.
Yeah. I remember hearing that. Yeah. Which is so awesome. And then the last thing is all the details in Subspace Rhapsody for the Klingon warrior outfits, the boots and the sashes and their belts. Oh, wow. They look so good.
Oh, my God. And the K-pop. Yes, of course.
Yes. Gotta love it. Good Klingon boy band.
That's so good. And I like, so your 5-word summary was great. Croft, you've done it again, which is, of course, a shout out to Bernadette Croft, the amazing costume designer for Strange New Worlds. Jamie, what's your take on all the incredible costumes this season?
Wow. Couldn't agree more. And I was just thinking, Paige, in my mind of some of the things that stood out to me, and you just tick them off one after another after another. I'm like, yep, okay.
Yeah.
You've got all the ones that jump out to me. Again, I don't want to sound like a Paramount shill, but watching some of the behind the scenes featurettes on the Ready Room have been amazing, especially the way that they created, T'Pring's dress in particular. I was like, my gosh, they spent so much time doing this. Now, did this group of people win an Emmy or something, Jim? Do you know? And if not, why not?
And they haven't been nominated. And don't even get me started on the Emmys and the way they view Star Trek. And it's no longer even a genre thing because, and sorry, people are going to get annoyed with me. The Mandalorian, it's fine. It's a fine show. It got nominated for Best Drama Series the first and second season. Sorry, I'm probably going to cut this out. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's not.
That is some bullshit.
It's not
right
that
there.
good. And it's because of Star Wars and the legacy and the way so many people connect to Star Wars and not Star Trek, which I get. That's a different thing. But to pretend like Strange New Worlds isn't miles ahead of where The Mandalorian is, sorry, that's not debatable.
I love The Mandalorian.
Maybe I'm not going to cut this out. Sorry, Paige, defend The Mandalorian. Do it.
No, I won't. My opinion is not that strong on which is better. So I will let you have this, but I do love The Mandalorian.
I mean, I like watching it too, although I couldn't get through the end of season 3. But every episode was like kind of the same setup, right? Like, okay, they're going on. It's another quest thing. And I don't know. Anyway, that part I'm definitely cutting out. I'm not that big a dick.
Did they win best costumes though?
No, but the fact that they got nominated for drama series 2 years in a row kills me. Absolutely. I mean, alongside Succession and these kind of shows. And I get it. Star Trek's never going to get nominated for that again, although it was season 7 of TNG way back in the day. Okay, we'll see how much of that makes it into the show. Moorhouse ranting. Okay, fantastic pick, Paige. My favorite thing about it is how many costumes you rattled off, because I love covering a lot of ground in these episodes, and you just did that. So, okay, let's go to my round 5 pick, production design, 5 words and a hashtag. Once more with subspace folds, hashtag all systems stable. I told you I'm going to be singing a lot. Why do I do this? On all the singing episodes, I do this. It is the musical, just the musical. And the production choice to do a musical, Subspace Rhapsody, I just love this choice. They finally did it. Star Trek finally has a musical episode. And the fact that they pulled it off at this level and truly made it feel like Star Trek's version of Buffy's Once More with Feeling, which is not a throwaway episode, but a groundbreaking episode of Buffy, and where all this stuff happens, all these reveals, all these character developments. So they've done that here. It's not silly. It's not a comedy. It's an incredible episode that moves plot and characters forward, just in really emotional ways. And it's just brilliant. And it's got everything from how it impacts Spock and Chapel's breakup and that great Dr. Corby reference. And I just love it all. And my favorite songs were the first one and the last one, Status Report and We Are One. So, Jamie, what's your take on the musical, and what was your favorite song?
Okay.
This is probably not the only time we're going to talk about the musical, so
probably not, but I'm ready. So let's.
Okay, you're ready.
I'm ready.
You earned it.
Let's say, obviously, it was sensational. Like it was such a genius decision to finally bite the bullet and do it. You just know that there have been Star Trek writers' rooms for years now that we've got the new show, and someone somewhere has gone, should we do the musical? And someone has said, oh, no, we can't do it, whatever. And these guys just went, yep, we're going to do it. And not only did they do the musical, but they said, you know what, we're going to wait until we have an episode that requires the emotional catharsis of like several season-long arcs all coalescing and all resolving at the same time. Like that is an amazing decision to say we're gonna put the musical episode in such a crucial part, in such a crucial spot in the season. It's not a throwaway, as you said. Yeah. My favorite quote about this was Henry Alonso Myers said something along the lines of, I woke up one morning and said, you know what? We're going to have everyone's going to expect the musical to be a kind of jaunty, throwaway kind of thing. And instead we're going to it's going to be heart wrenching and serious and emotional. And that's going to catch people unawares. And it certainly caught me unawares. And, but I'm so glad they did it that way.
Perfect summary. Paige, what's your take?
Yeah, really well said. And I've already said I'm a horror fan. Probably my second favorite genre of movies are musicals. I love musicals. And I would say my favorite songs are How Would That Feel and Keep Us Connected. I love a power ballad. And Christina Chong and Celia Gooding really knocked it out of the park with those two. Wow, I love those songs. I've had it stuck in my head for days at this point. They are so, so good. An instant classic.
Absolutely, same. And I love that horror and musical are your favorite genres. That's
it was a good season for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's a relief because my favorite genres are gritty war classic and courtroom drama. So between the two of us, we're all good.
How about farcical comedies and bang up action adventures?
They're right up there too.
Okay,
what a joy!
I love it. Okay, round 4. MVP creative or performer or actor. Jamie, what do you got?
Well, let's just keep riding the wave. So my 5 words are SETI eel is less effective, #unexpected earworm. And I'm picking Tom Polche and Kay Hanley, the songwriters of Subspace Rhapsody, as my creative pick. And I just think they did an amazing job. They're from this band, Led Us to Cleo, that, to be honest, I'd never heard of because that's not really, alternative rock is not really my genre. But to be honest, when I first watched the episode, Jim, it was using the Rio Las Vegas television speakers, which don't exactly give you the best audio. And then I watched it the second time streaming on a laptop. And I'll be honest, I don't think I really heard the lyrics perfectly until I downloaded the album and got the songs into my brain and could hear the lyrics better. For example, I had no idea about Spock's song where the X is part of the equation. He kind of solves for Y and the X kind of thing that's where that's part of it. Because I just didn't pick it up with the lyrics clearly. And since I've been listening to the album, downloading it like a proper Trek fan, download the soundtrack album, it has absolutely earwormed its way into my brain. And a bit like Paige was saying, I've been humming the songs for several days now, and it's actually getting to the point where it's now annoying. I'm like, I can't get this song out of my head. So at any rate, the two songwriters, I think, knocked it out of the park. They did a lot of work in prep because they had to fix. The way I think about it is they had to work with the vocal ranges of the actors, which were variable. And they also have to work with the script writers to get everything perfect because this was the culmination of the season, as we was just talking about. So that doesn't just happen. And the fact that I love the songs and it was perfect in the show, I just want to give props to the two songwriters.
Yeah, that's perfect. Alternative music is my genre, and Letters to Cleo is a great little band. So I was really confident when I heard they were doing this, and they crushed it. I mean, my favorite songs are the ones that utilize so much of the Star Trek elements, like Status Report and We Are One, and I'm the X is one of those too, because it's really Spock talking about the equation and then also his breakup and how it's changing him and how he's realizing some of the choices he needs to make moving forward. Incredible work, total earworms, also rattling around in my brain. Paige, let's keep talking about this incredible musical.
Let's never stop. It is so much fun. One thing I'll say while we're talking about I'm the X is that I love how melodically it's very similar to I'm Ready, and the like structure of the song is super similar, but one of them is in a major key and it's super upbeat and just fun instrumentation, and the other one is more dour and in a minor key, and just with Ethan Peck's deep voice, it hits so hard, and I love. I mean, shout out to those creators because they just really crushed that.
Yeah, it's so impressive. I love too that the first line from each song is the same, right? This news really changes everything. And then Chapel starts about her dreams coming true. And then Spock talks about how wrong he's been. He can't believe how wrong I've been. Oh, heartbreaking.
This news really changes everything. A distant dream becoming real.
This news really changes everything. I can't believe how wrong I've been.
Lyrically brilliant. Wow.
Absolutely. Okay. My guess is we might still talk about it some more. Okay. What's your round 4 pick, Paige, for your MVP creative?
Okay. My 5 words are: the war is over, Joseph. And my hashtag is yes, but how can it ever be? And my choice is Babs Olusanmokan. And wow, I think that his performance has just been stellar throughout this whole season. I loved his performance from season 1 and everything we learned about Mbenga's character, everything with his daughter and his relationship to her. So touching. And this season has just added a lot of really different layers, and it's just really creating this full picture of Mbenga. And at the center of that is this incredible actor who is taking everything that they throw at him and just killing it. So he's nailed pretty much every action scene that he's been in. The Protocol 12 scene is just a standout in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
And the Klingon Judah, what is that? Makbara?
Yeah, the Makbara. Yep.
Wow. The amount of physical and mental chess going on in that scene is just outstanding. And let's see. I love that we still get to see how great of a doctor he is, that he has just the greatest bedside manner. And I love the way, in particular, that he takes care of Uhura with so much empathy and humor in Lost in Translation. He is just the best doctor. And he's also really great in war times, right? We see him really be able to triage like an expert. And he's just crushing it.
And did you pick Under the Cloak of War?
I feel like I have to, because it really showcases his acting chops, and he just has a lot of really complicated and demanding scenes, and his acting is incredible.
Yeah, he's amazing. And you've laid out everything in terms of the weight of his performance this season. Just really incredible. And then I love how game he was singing, because clearly singing is not his thing.
Right.
In the musical, but I'm sorry, every line he has is a standout to me, especially one of my favorites, which is a left ankle sprain, which I just love that in Status Report.
A headache, a splinter,
a left ankle sprain, it's happening again. Why are we singing?
Jamie, what's your take on Babs in this season?
Gotta love Babs. Has done an amazing job with the material he's been given. He brings a real level of gravitas to the role that I think is particularly impressive. Obviously, we've spoken about the stuff that I think he was chosen for some of these fight scenes, because once he got cast, he was like, oh, by the way, I'm actually a really very well-trained fighter, which they've done a great job in molding that into his character. A character still feeling the effects of the Klingon War. And in particular around Under the Cloak of War being the episode that was picked, I think there is a certain level of authenticity that he brings to the role as well. Just talking to, as you had said, we've just been in Vegas, and I was catching up with mutual friend John Krikorian, who's worked in the armed forces previously, and he just said, I knew people like that. This resonated with me, and that's not a world I'm part of, so I don't have an opinion on that, but I trust people who do, who say, you know what, this was authentic. This was, I know people exactly like that who have been affected in that way. So anyway, great job.
Yeah, it's funny,
and a great pick.
And that's an episode. That episode's really stuck with me. I've gone back to it as much as almost any episode this season, because just think the performance from Babs, Olis, and Moken is really, really impressive. So good. That's such a great pick, Paige. I'm so glad you picked it. I think that episode is massively underrated across the board. So
yeah, I think so too. Especially like the last scene with Pike, just those two going back and forth with each other on.
Yep.
And they have so much respect for each other, but just don't see eye to eye on this. So
yeah, I like that scene because I think there's a moment where he tells Chris, he says to Chris, and I can't remember the exact line, but he tells him exactly what he did. And then and then the tone changes a little bit, and now he's talking to his captain, and he's being a little more, all the language is ambiguous, but when he's talking to Chris, he's telling him exactly what happened. And I have no issues with it. I think it's fantastic. Great stuff.
I didn't start the fight, Chris.
This whole situation it's complicated.
Is it? Ra was living a lie. I saw his true face. What if I told you he murdered children? Not his men. He did it. What if I started the fight then? Would that be so bad?
Even if he had secrets, there's due process. That's why we have tribunals.
The diplomatic corps knew who he was, and they still let him represent the Federation.
The Federation believes everyone deserves a second chance.
What about justice? What about the victims? Doesn't everyone deserve to pay for their actions?
So who decides? Who pays and who gets redemption? Where's the line?
You're right, Chris. We've known each other for a very long time. See eye to eye on most things. But you haven't lived my life. You have the privilege of believing in what's best in people. Me? I happen to know there's some things in this world that don't deserve forgiveness.
What are you saying?
I told you I didn't start the fight. But I'm glad he's dead.
Okay, so that was just like a season of Strange New Worlds. We went from Subspace Rhapsody to Under the Cloak of War. These tones are incredible. So we're going to go flip the other way again. I'm going with a real basic pick here for my creative. Number 4, he's the MVP of the season right in front of our eyes, the center of almost all the key elements, and just an amazing actor. 5 words and a hashtag. He's the sweet unvulcan Vulcan hashtag with some serious pipes, and it's Ethan Peck. And my episode is Charades. And I was putting my notes together for this, and I actually felt like, man, I feel like I've picked him before. So I went back and checked Discovery Season 2, and I had picked Spock as my MVP of Discovery Season 2. So I said, all right, I'm doing it again because Ethan Peck is just too incredible this season. And it was Pelia that called him the sweet unvulcan Vulcan in the Broken Circle. I love that line. And it really did a good job of kind of launching this season as kind of a Spock season where we're told right from the outset that he's struggling to figure things out. And you see that in that episode. He has all these emotions coming to the forefront. He's stealing the Enterprise. He's trying to save Chapel at the end. It's he's very emotional. He tells no, I can't remember who it is now. Maybe it was Babs, but that he's basically doesn't know how to handle the feelings that he has for Chapel when she's almost dies. It's really incredible. And then you get lost in translation and those old scientists and Subspace Rhapsody. And of course, the episode I'm picking is Charades, with the scenes with Amanda and Mia Kirshner are just incredible. T'Pring and T'Pril and all the stuff with Chapel. It's just great stuff. And the kiss at the end is absolutely epic. So I just love it. And the acting here where he's laughing and learning to be human with Pike and laughing with Ortegas and Uhura and Una. I love it. It's epic. Paige, what's your take on Spock or Ethan Peck in Charades and the whole season?
Yeah, this is a pick I seriously considered making. I thought I could pick Spock for favorite character or Ethan Peck for favorite actor. And I really thought about it because he is, when I first heard they were recasting Spock for Discovery, I was skeptical. I thought, I don't know if I ruined my heart for another Spock, but I did. He is just so good. I love his performance and how he's, got his own flair, but he pays so much respect to the actors that came before him. And I love that he drinks blood wine and he makes Raptidino. And I love his vigorous practicing on his instrument that Mbenga gave him. And Charades is just such a perfect choice because All Human Spock was just such a delight to watch on screen. And I love how it deepened his relationship with Amanda and how he can finally see what she's gone through. Wow. All of those levels to his performance are just incredible. And that final scene where he stands up to T'Pril just gets me every time.
Yeah. He breaks it down for T'Pril. Jamie, what's your take?
Ethan Peck, amazing. And, one of my favorite moments at Vegas was seeing Ethan Peck on stage with Zach Quinto and the two of them, because it's so weird because, of course, they were cast because they kind of look roughly like Spock, and also just temperamentally, they're very thoughtful, very intelligent, hugely well spoken. And it was kind of seeing a reflection of through a weird mirror kind of thing. It was so much fun to watch, and he is obviously doing an amazing job upholding the legacy of Leonard Nimoy and Zachary Quinto, and I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, that was not one of my favorite moments from STV. That was easily my favorite moment. That panel, it was a Zachary Quinto panel, and then Ethan Peck joined for the last half unexpectedly, and it was beautiful to see the way they both respected each other and the character and the legacy of Star Trek. And we are a lucky franchise to have both those guys portraying Spock in the future. And I'm confident at some point Zachary Quinto will do it again, and he's every bit as deserving of the praise that the others received too. So great stuff. Okay, let's go to the Dabo round. It's our wild card round. Jamie, what's your number 3 pick?
Okay, Dabo. My 5 words are: true Scotsman is no fallacy. Hashtag doin' peg mashup. And my Dabo round pick is Martin Quinn as Scotty. I absolutely loved his introduction to the series.
Such a good pick.
Loved the decision to add him in. Perfect introduction. Loved the attitude with which he played the role. Loved the interaction with Pelia. It's kind of got the best parts of both in previous interpretations of Scotty, given we're now talking about, legacy characters we love and how different people interpret them. And I can't wait to see what they do with him. And the more I think about it, the more I don't really care if he stays around for a bit, a little bit like what they've done with Kirk. That's kind of cool. If he disappears at the end of this 2-parter, that's also kind of cool. I'm okay with it, but I look forward to seeing what they do with him. And he being an actual Scotsman, I just thought this is a great casting choice. He did a great job in the show. And anyway, that's my Dabo round pick.
Fantastic deep cut. I love this. I mean, what a surprise. It was just so good. And he did such a great job. So a group of us did watch this, and the cheer in my hotel room when Scotty showed up was palpable and exciting and amazing.
That's what I heard from across Vegas. Okay,
there you go.
Now I get
good
it.
Stuff,
right.
Good stuff.
No.
All right, Paige, what is your take on the surprise appearance of Scotty and Martin Quinn's performance?
Oh, it just makes me so excited to see more. I can just tell he's going to kill it. Such good casting. And I love how they're already showing off what a genius he is. We know he's a miracle worker, and they're showing that he always has been one.
How did you escape?
In a shuttle. You ran from the Gorn in a shuttle. How are you not dead?
Firstly, I jury-rigged the engines to increase their capacity, and secondly, I figured out how to hide in plain sight.
Sounds resourceful.
And mysterious.
When an armada of human-eating lizards come my way, I can get quite creative.
Mr. Scott.
That was probably my favorite element, that in his first two scenes, he rattled off like 3 or 4 miracles that he just casually mentioned, like, well, how did you get here? Oh, I just refigured this thing and made the engines more powerful, and then I created this transponder that hides us from the Gorn. Just brilliant. Just really, really good. And I'm confident we're going to see him in season 3 consistently helping out Pelia. It just seems like too much of an obvious setup. So
I can't wait for the first timing joke, that they're going to run with.
Yes.
That's going to be great too.
That'll definitely be on the list of things they do. Okay, Dabo Round, Paige, what's your number 3 pick?
Okay, my 5 words are old characters making new connections. # they are a family. And my pick is just the deepening of connections between these characters that we've known for so long. And probably one of the standout ones for me is just getting to see more of Pike's command style. He's such a good host. I love all the cooking scenes in the apron. I love that we got to see him hold a briefing in his quarters in Subspace Rhapsody.
Yeah.
And I love that his ready room is not like his personal space. There's people in there using it when he's not even there.
Yep.
And he's rarely in there by himself. He's always there with someone else. And it's just a communal space. No one even knocks or asks permission to enter. They all just walk in. And that is so awesome. I love his command style. It's been so fun to see. And some other characters that have had some character building, Mbenga and Chapel's bond that we've seen, that they've been serving together forever, and they just seem like they were born to do that, to work together. Una's trial, wow, I never thought we'd get background on number 1. I love everything we're getting about her. I love the Kirk brothers and their sibling rivalry that we get to see more of.
What is happening right now?
Not sure either.
You're seriously not going to apologize?
For what? For being extremely competent?
For being Okay. You know what? Forget it. Go have fun on your stupid little ship. I'm going to be here on the flagship.
Well, that was something.
Yeah, it's just Sam being Sam. Sometimes he can be
frustrating.
That's been a lot of fun. Spock, his connection to his mother, which we already kind of talked about with in charades, and then Spock and Chapel's relationship. Let's bring that up, right? The love continues, and it's been so much fun to see how that fits into everything we know about TOS, and I would say it even enhances it and makes it make a lot of sense. And I'm loving that. We also see a lot of Uhura, her family, and how that affects her and her ability to deal with death. And then shout out to Paul Wesley's Kirk, just so blown away with his performance as well.
So good. He's incredible. What episode did you pick?
Let's see.
All of them.
I didn't pick one. Let's see. What should I pick? Yeah.
Trying to think. Where did you start? You started with Pike.
Yeah.
And the ready. Oh, you started with Subspace.
I am
Subspace
totally
Rhapsody.
comfortable picking Subspace Rhapsody. What a great episode. I would love to pick that episode.
Okay. I didn't mean to pick it for you.
No, that is totally fine. I don't think I've picked that one yet, spoiler alert, but yeah, let's pick that.
That's good. I love this. My pick's very similar to this, but Jamie, I want to hear your quick take on these deepening just character development of these characters we've known from TOS and known from Star Trek previous.
Well, Paige knows how to get back on TrekRanks by covering a lot of ground on each pick, which is sensational. It's the work of the writers. They've done a great job in putting so much character development and connection to these characters for people watching the show through 10 episodes. And I think they've done an amazing job. I don't mean this as an implicit criticism of some other TV shows, but I do think that they've done an amazing job of highlighting character as the most important part of Strange New Worlds, and the plot and the genre changes and everything is in support of the characterization and the arcs of the characters through the course of the show. And I just think they've done it brilliantly. And so as far as the deepening relationships of each of the characters, some of whom we've known, some of whom we haven't, I think that they've done an amazing job with that. So I think this is a great pick to highlight.
Yeah, that's perfect. And so let's do this. I'm going to jump into my Dabo Round pick because it's very similar. I thought about picking the introduction of characters being introduced to each other, because that was kind of a thread through the whole season. And what I went with as my pick was the connected character arcs across all these standalone episodes. So, Jamie, you yelled out, pick all of them, or she picked all of them. Here's my 5 words in a hashtag. See if you can follow along. Broken Tomorrow, Lost Scientist Hegemony, hashtag charades among Astra Subspace Cloak. That's all 10. And my episode is tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. And my pick is connected character arcs across these 10 episodes. And I know this is not a groundbreaking formula. Plenty of shows have done this and successfully with story arcs across standalone episodes. But I think what Strange New Worlds has done this season is as good as anyone's ever done it. I just really believe that. They have these, they've just featured some of the most connective storytelling we've ever seen on Trek. And I'll say that first, that the episode I chose, Tomorrow, represents just the most incredible character arc. I love this. If you've got La'an and Kirk, and they've just given them so much depth and gravitas across the 7 episodes here. So you've got from Tomorrow and Tomorrow to Lost in Translation and Subspace Rhapsody, you get a full, just a meal of the character development with the connection, the heartbreak, their friendship, their pursuit, and then resolution. And it's just really impactful for both characters. I love it. We've talked about M'Benga and Chapel and the deep bonds that they've had with trauma and their war experience. And I love the way that their experiences in previous episodes elevates Hegemony, and Under the Cloak of War makes The Broken Circle such a better episode. It's just amazing when you go back and watch The Broken Circle after seeing Under the Cloak of War. And you got Subspace Rhapsody, of course, with all these reveals. Those Old Scientists is the crucial link in Spock and Chapel's season-long relationship, where she, painfully realizes that there's not going to be any future with her and Spock. And Boimler is the catalyst for that, which is just insane to me. You got Una's recruitment story. You got Uhura learning how to balance it all. Ortegas is a war hero. You've got the Tendi reference with their Orions, even connecting back to Lower Deck. And we already joked about all the different genres we saw this season. So I've got action, courtroom drama, time travel, romance, psychological thriller, medical mystery, comedy, horror, farce, war, and musical at a minimum are the variety of types of shows we saw this season. So, and my last thing I'll say is the last 5 episodes of this season, unlike I think any I've ever seen in Trek, make the first 5 better. And I just love the way that has been a part of this season's storytelling. Jamie, what's your take?
Not much more to add, given that we've now covered the plots of all 10 episodes of the entire season. So, but what I will say is, and this is back to my point previously about Subspace Rhapsody, is that everything kind of came together into episode 9, and they must have planned that well in advance because of the lead time for the musical episode. And I'm just so delighted to see a Trek show where I think that the end of the show was planned when they began the show, and they knew kind of where they were going to end up with everything. And I have heard a couple of quotes from Akiva Goldsman previously about Picard saying, well, some of the things we would do differently was we started writing without actually knowing exactly where we were going to end up. Yeah. And I think that honestly, as much as I love them, and I do, I think that shows on screen. Whereas I think this is the tightest written season of Trek that we've ever had. That's my suspicion. I can't think of anything that's tighter and better than this.
I know it's crazy, people. It's not recency bias, but I agree with that statement. Paige, what's your take on this pick, similar to yours?
Yeah, sounds like we had kind of a similar idea. There's just so much good stuff to talk about, and this is the thing that connects them all. And so I think it's an awesome pick.
Yep, perfect. Okay, let's get into our favorite characters, round 2. Jamie, what's your top character of the season?
Okay, launching on the back of what we've just been talking about. Arc provides season's backbone. Hashtag Aussies represent in space. It's Nurse Chapel. Yes. And Jess Bush playing her. I would get excommunicated from the from my Australians, my fellow Australians, if I didn't pick Jess Bush here.
I should have known.
Look, Nurse Chapel has a lot to do this season, a huge amount to do, and there's a lot of depth. As you've said, we cover the experiences in war and the consequences that they've had on her in the season premiere, and then also into Under the Cloak of War. You've got the relationship with Spock traveling throughout the season, which really does provide that connection you're referring to. I think, look, my only request would have been to see a little bit more of her and Spock together as a couple before the kind of rug was pulled out from under him in Subspace Rhapsody. But that's a very minor quibble in what is, in 10 episodes, you have to allow for there to have been time in between episodes, and you've got to have something in your headcanon about that. So, plus I think Jess Bush has been amazing in the role, just a revelation. And, I also might add in passing that she seems to have embraced the fandom significantly, off screen as well. She's done the cruise. She was at STLV. She's doing Destination Trek. And I will also say that certainly she's responsible for what I think is the most enjoyable, if maybe not my favorite song on the album of I'm Ready. So anyway, just a phenomenal season for Nurse Chapel and Jess Bush.
Yeah, incredible. This is a fantastic pick, and I should have predicted this. This is a no-brainer. She's at the core of this season, and it's an incredible performance in what she did. Oh, what episode did you pick?
That's a good one. Let's go with The Broken Circle, because that hasn't been selected yet. And who can look past Chapel and Mbenga just going to town, with their... What did we joke on Twitter? The what was it? Roger Ramjet proton pills, and they smash everyone up. So anyway, that was a key moment for the character. I'm sure Jess Bush enjoyed filming that.
Yeah, that's I love that huge deep cut pick. Paige, what is your take on Nurse Chapel?
Yeah, I absolutely love how Jess Bush is doing Nurse Chapel. I think her portrayal is so much fun. And I love how she is confident and competent and just so ambitious. I'm excited to see what they do with her and Roger Corby. That's coming up here probably in the next season from what we're hearing. And wow, she just gives such a masterful performance in every episode. So that's an excellent pick.
Yeah, phenomenal. And her performance in Broken Circle is legit. It's really, the final 10 minutes of that episode is super tight, really, really strong. Okay, let's go to Paige. What's your number 2 pick?
Okay, my 5 words are, there's nothing wrong with you. And my hashtag is flying blind. Should I sing it? I don't think so. But my pick is Vaughn Noonien Singh.
Fantastic.
And, yeah, her arc through this season has just been so much fun to watch. I love how we start out with her out drinking a Klingon, which is so much fun.
Oh, right.
And then all her scenes where she's out with her friends at the bar, she still has her, she still kind of keeps everything inside, but she's not afraid to laugh when she's off duty. And I think kind of where her arc sort of starts here is in Ad Astra per Aspera. I love all of the scenes that she has with Una's lawyer, Nira, and where she's kind of concerned that she's the one who leaked Una's identity, and how Nira kind of helps set her on this path to coming to terms with her augmented ancestry and making peace with that. And she says to her, "There's nothing wrong with you." And Christina Chong's performance about just how deeply La'an needed to hear that. Wow, it's really good. That's an excellent scene. Then we see that continue in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which will be my pick for La'an. And
I already wrote it down.
Yeah. And I love how we get to see her have some fun and just kind of open up to Kirk, especially since she's relishing the fact that that Kirk rather has no idea who Khan is, and that he has none of that baggage, or doesn't really.
Such a smart moment.
Absolutely. And at the end, when she says to Sarah, the assassin from the Romulan assassin, at Khan's door, she says, "My real name is La'an Noonien Singh. My ancestor is Khan Noonien Singh, and his legacy is genocide, torture, and me." And wow, that gets me every time. And yeah, we get to see her kind of disentangle her identity from Khan while accepting that she can't change the past, and nor should she want to. So yeah. And then the other thing I want to highlight is her solo in Subspace Rhapsody. Like I said, that's one of my favorite ones from the episode, and I think she just crushed it.
You couldn't summarize it any better. Those moments from Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and it's just made better throughout the whole season as you kind of realize the impact. Fantastic pick. I love it. Jamie, what's your take on La'an Noonien Singh?
Agree with everything that's been said. Might be time to change my paradigm, thinking about it as to who my favorite character is for the season. Let me think.
To sing it, man. Singing.
No, you still want people to listen to the show, don't you?
Okay. Right.
Let me tell you something. Talk about the internet. I read a comment somewhere, and really, I shouldn't waste time on the internet, but I was on the internet, and someone said, it was Subspace Rhapsody, good episode, but a lot of the songs were interchangeable. It wouldn't matter which character was singing which song. And I went, talk about being wrong on the internet. What on earth are you talking about?
Oh my God.
And that the song that La'an sings is just so personal to her character and the position that she's in, and it totally relies on you. You don't need to, but it is the value is added by knowing where she's been previously in season one, at the end of season one, and then the experience she's had with Kirk, and it just makes it all so much better. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, it was great pick for La'an Noonien Singh.
I love this because and she's the one that talks about how people are losing control because of the singing, right? The singing is making them say things that they can't control, or they're not choosing to reveal, which, okay, this is a little thing, but I love it. So her moment with Kirk is not a song because she's making the choice. She's changed her abilities, her internal character to have that conversation and put herself out there and risk and have that conversation. That it's not a song. If it was a song, then it would be something she couldn't control. And I really like that choice that they made that just a conversation, not a song.
I will say this episode is the one that I did watch with you, and when she opens the drawer and pulls out the watch, you made a squeal
yes,
that I haven't actually I haven't heard before or since. But yeah, it was good.
I was going for a laugh, and it did not happen. Everyone in the room was like, "Shut up, dude." So, okay, here we go. My round two, that was a fantastic pick, Paige. Thank you. My round two pick. This was actually my hardest pick, and not because I couldn't choose from a bunch of favorites that I couldn't narrow it down. It was kind of the opposite. I was like, the whole season was so level and consistent and streamlined. I was like, there's really nobody that kind of emerged in a way. I probably would have picked Uhura again, but I already picked her last time. So with that in mind, 5 words and a hashtag. I'm not going to say work so hard for this hashtag. You've earned it. Deserve it. It's Nurse Christine Chapel and Jess Bush and Crazy. I picked the Broken Circle too, and I do think this is a huge deep cut. We both chose it. It's nuts. The obvious pick here is Charades. She's so good in that. She's all the stuff with Ethan Peck, and when she has to talk to the yellow alien and kind of admit her feelings and all the things that are going on there to fix Spock, and then she comes back and she's gonna give him his vitamins, and he's about to tell her, how he feels as a human, and she like, nope. She gives him the medicine. So I love all that stuff, but I chose the Broken Circle because I kind of teased it. The fight work she does, super fun and cool, but the end with her and M'Benga facing death together and jumping into space, and he says, we've been in tougher situations where they're about to die. And she's like, no, we haven't. It's really, really strong performance. And the final moments with Spock languishing over her are fantastic. So we talked about it already a little bit, but I am picking Christine Chapel as my MVP character. Paige, any other thoughts on this one?
Sure. She is just filling such big shoes with Majel Barrett, and we're so lucky to have more than one character who is filling those shoes.
I know.
And they're both doing it really well. And I don't know, I don't have any other specifics, but wow, I have really loved watching this season.
I'm glad you said that, because I do think about that, how crazy it is that these two characters, Una and Chapel, are both continuing Majel Barrett Roddenberry's legacy with these performances. Any final thoughts on that one, Jamie?
Very good pick, Jim.
Yes.
An exceptional pick in this particular round. Yeah, no, I like it.
Right. Okay. Well, I hope you're enjoying your last appearance on TrekRanks after revealing my squeal when the watch appeared. Okay, let's go to round one. Jamie, what's your number one episode? This should be interesting.
Begin round one.
Okay, so I think we might have more duplicates. I don't know.
We might have some duplicates coming up.
5 words. Delight from start to finish. Hashtag Tendi and Rutherford live action next, please.
Yeah.
And it's those old scientists. And I mean, I don't know what I can say about this that hasn't been said by everyone. It was just fantastic. Jack Quaid, Tawny Newsome knocked it out of the park. And again, a little bit like Subspace Rhapsody, it was a comedy episode that had heart and character and meaning behind it, and pushed the character arcs of the characters forward. Key character moments for Uhura, for Spock, for Pike, for Una. It's directed by Jonathan Frakes. It even had a moment of love for Enterprise. I mean, what did this episode not? What box did this episode not check? It was just so wonderful. And so those old scientists, my favorite episode from season 2.
It checked them all. Paige, that's those old scientists. What's your take on this one?
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and give you my 5 words and a hashtag, which are Hot Spock agrees with me. Hashtag I love the grapplers. And I have also chosen those old scientists for all of the same reasons. It just such an ambitious crossover that hit every nail right on the head. And all of the moments between Uhura and Mariner, teaching them how to kind of break loose and take breaks, and I love seeing that. I love Spock and Boimler's experiment scene where everything's blowing up and Boimler's freaking out.
Can we just cook some up?
You please just not.
Sorry.
The ensign is correct. We could attempt to synthesize heronium ourselves.
Hot Spock agrees with me.
However, we would be putting ourselves in great danger. If it goes wrong, the blast could take out half the ship, and there is a chance it might not work at all.
That doesn't sound very logical.
Okay. We need a second option.
Sorry,
I might have one, Chris. The ancient text on the portal. Uhura's locked herself in her quarters working on her translation. Maybe she'll come up with some answers.
Great.
Oh, I have linguistics experience. Maybe I could help her.
I really want to say no, but how much more damage could you do at this point? So go for it.
Linguistics experience? Really? No, but it's Uhura. Don't ruin this for me. I will end your life. And Boimler should work with Spock because he took an elective in material synthesis at the Academy.
I mean, for fun. It's not like Spock needs help from me.
I can use the extra pair of hands. if Mr. Boimler is not afraid of losing one of them.
What the? Spock smiling now?
He just doesn't now. Just go with it. It's terrifying.
I love seeing both of them in live action, and I think they both crushed it. What a fun episode, and I will just keep rewatching this forever until the day I die.
Same, and my 5 words in a hashtag. Their references are oddly specific. Hashtag I love grapplers. So we had the same hashtag. Good job, Paige. My pick is also those old scientists. There's just no way to avoid it. As much as I want to give Lost in Translation some love, because I love that episode, I'll talk about it in secondary systems. It's those old scientists. It's perfection. It's truly one of my all-time favorite episodes of Star Trek ever.
Okay, not to be ungrateful, but if you had just waited like one more second, we wouldn't be stuck here.
Do you know how worried I was? You disappeared in a vortex while I was in charge. For all I knew, you were dead or stuck in a dystopian San Francisco in the middle of a riot.
Have you noticed that the references are weirdly specific?
Indeed.
I'm sorry, hold up. Look, I'm gonna keep this like 100% profesh, but I was thoroughly unprepared for how hot young Spock was going to be.
Yeah, he's full of surprises.
I can't get enough of it. It's cool sci-fi, it's character focused, it's uplifting, it's hilarious, it's expansive, and by that I mean it does that thing. And I always say this about Star Trek, to me Star Trek is a massive modern day mythology that encompasses 60 years of storytelling and almost 900 episodes, which is incredibly well connected and consistent over that span. And now here in the middle of this, you've got a crossover episode with Lower Decks and animated Star Trek, and it just connects it all further with both shows and both characters kind of maintaining their core elements, and despite kind of being showcased next to each other, they keep the things that make them different and unique, and it's truly a miracle the way they pulled this thing off. I mean, I joked with somebody on Twitter, like we literally could do an episode on just top 5 things in those old scientists and not have any duplicates. So, and that might be coming down the road. Incredible. And I'm going to, I'll save that for secondary systems. So yeah, I mean, we can go on forever on this. It's truly, truly special. And I love that you gave Rutherford and Tendi a shout out in your 5 words in a hashtag, Jamie, because one of my favorite lines was after all said and done, and Rutherford's standing there and just goes, "They seem nice." So, which is such another smart way to connect Lower Decks with Strange New Worlds, that he's looking through the portal and seeing Pike, and just the simplest little comment he could make. They seem nice. Just brings it all together. I love it.
What? They seem nice.
Any final take on those old scientists and its brilliance, Jamie?
Just one thing to note, which was, I can't quite put the timing together, but I think that this episode was written and or conceived and or shot as season 1 was being released, or I think they had the idea for this and decided to do it before season 1 had even been aired in full. And so I can't imagine the foresight and bravery it took to do that and to have done it so well. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting thing to note, because they kind of known what the reaction to season 1 would have been, and they were already doing such amazing work on season 2. It really, all this entire episode is doing of TrekRanks is making me sad for the writers and actors strike, that we are not going to get more of this amazing show, which should already be shooting, and we should be seeing more of it next year. And let's hope that the powers that be come to the table and do the right thing, and we can get back to watching this amazing show.
Yeah, our best case scenario right now is like probably 18 months, and that's best case. So but that's okay. I'm patient. We can wait. And you make a great point. So I don't know. The episode has certainly been conceived by the time before season 1 had aired completely, because they were shooting season 2 before season 1 had fully aired. And it is a great testament to these writers that they kind of were confident in what they were doing without any feedback, and jumping right in. Incredible. Paige, any final thoughts on those old scientists?
Sure, yeah. So one thing I don't think we've talked about yet is that there's actually some really touching moments in this episode as well.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, but I love the pinup confusion with Una, and how at the end she finds out that they put Ad Astra per Aspera on a recruitment poster, and just you can tell how much that means to her. So they really balanced out the humor elements with more of those like serious and touching elements, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, and I kind of teased it a little bit in my pick that about Boimler being the catalyst for Spock and Chapel's eventual breakup, which is truly incredible that he kind of put that seed into her mind that there was not going to be any end game for her with Spock. So good. Really incredible. Okay.
Boimler and Mariner tell Pike to engage better with his crew because of his because of his future. I mean, my gosh,
I know.
It's so good.
I know. It's a perfect episode. And man, we have covered a lot of ground. This is great. I got a lot more to cover in my secondary systems. So let's do it now.
Let's see what you can do with the secondary systems.
Jamie, any extra thoughts here on some other picks?
Okay, so I've got one pick for each aspect. So production design, I'm going to go with to be continued at the end of the season. How good to see those words on the screen again. For creative, I've got Mike McMahon for punching up the script for those old scientists, because whatever he added was great. My Dabo round, I'd like to pick the concept of how they dealt with canon. We haven't really discussed it, but the way they dealt with World War III and the eugenics wars and the interference of the Romulans, I thought that was really clever in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And, I think for all of the ways in which they stretch canon in some places, they clearly respect it. And, little bits like Pike becoming fleet captain at the time when he meets Kirk and little bits and pieces.
Fun stuff,
that kind of respect the canon, even if in some places they stretch it. So
I'm going to highlight that because I think the Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow line from the Romulan interloper, I can't remember her name, is brilliant, right? It's the line we've kind of needed to hear for 20 years in Star Trek.
Totally.
It's Future's End, because Future's End, it's 1996 and there's no eugenics war and there's no eugenics war. So, and there's been books that kind of spin around it, which is great, but just to hear her say, I've been waiting here 30 years and the timeline's all messed up, but it's still happening. Just delayed, it's all still going to happen in some format or another. Brilliant. It's really well done.
But so many people have tried to influence these events, to delay them or stop them. I mean, whole temporal wars have been fought over them, and it's almost as if time itself is pushing back and events reinsert themselves, and all of this was supposed to happen back in 1992, and I've been trapped here for 30 years trying to get my shot at him. I'm not going to stop now. So open the door.
My real name is La'an Noonien Singh. My ancestor is Khan Noonien Singh. And his legacy is genocide, torture, and me.
And it would be Romulans, wouldn't it? It would be Romulans doing that, of course. The character, I thought I'd mention Melissa Navia, probably one of my favorite characters on the show, and I can't wait for them to use her more in the future. I believe she went through some personal things that meant that they cut down her role a little bit in season 2, and I hope that they revisit that in season 3 and give us some more meaty content, because as an actor and a character, I love Ortegas, and I can't wait to see what they do with her further. And for episode, I had charades as well, and I firmly hope that episode 5 out of every season is a Spock to Pring comedy, and I'll be almost offended if we get to episode 5 next season and it's not. So they better know what they're doing.
Kind of feels like that's what they're doing. We'll see. Paige, what about you? What just missed your list?
Sure. I want to give a quick shout out to the slanted Jeffries tube. I love when they show.
Yes, thank you. So good.
Yes.
Oh, that hits the sweet spot.
It's so nice. I love it so much. And one character that I seriously consider picking is Pelia. I loved her. I love all her artifacts and how warm she is. I love this concept of the Lanthanites, and I can't wait to hear more about that. I love that she helps them steal the Enterprise when she doesn't even know any of them, which is so fun. And she really doesn't let anyone get away with anything. She'll call you out.
Yep.
I love that about her. And she is just so much fun, and I cannot wait to get more of her. And I really could have picked her. I seriously considered it.
She's definitely on my secondary systems.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest secondary system. So
perhaps I just made it. It doesn't matter what the bulletin says. The statute of limitations passed decades ago. I checked.
Is there a statute of limitations on plundering antiquities?
Go on. Maybe Starfleet Security wants to weigh in on this.
I'd say we should let this one slide, Captain.
Okay, so all right, stuff that we haven't mentioned. My toughest cut was Lost in Translation. I love this episode. I think it's really special. It's a horror homage, and I think Uhura is special in it. And I think the moments that they kind of really casually set up between Kirk meeting Uhura and Kirk meeting Spock and Kirk and Lon's story kind of continuing, I just think it's really, really smart piece of Star Trek. I think it's really underrated. I love it. I also we talked quickly about Paul Wesley as James T. Kirk. Incredible. Fantastic. I love the port galley set, the new kind of hangout spot for the crew on the ship. And then I gotta say that cliffhanger is definitely on my list. And then I'm going to give a special shout out to Bill Wolkoff from the writing team, the writing credits. He had a writing credit on both Those Old Scientists and Subspace Rhapsody. So it's him and Catherine Lynn on Those Old Scientists, and he wrote Subspace Rhapsody with Dana Horgan. So the fact that one writer has credits on those two episodes is
you'd just retire, wouldn't you?
Pretty staggering. I mean, that's a staggering season of Star Trek, to say the least. Yeah, might as well. It's all downhill from here, man. Okay, I love it. Great season. Love talking about it. We covered a lot of ground, but now it's time to get into our regeneration cycle. We're going to go through some stats and a quick recap of our picks.
Computer, activate regeneration cycle. Alcoves beta and gamma.
Jamie, recap your 5 picks.
Okay, production design, The Gorn, and my episode was Hegemony. Creative, it was Tom Polche and Kay Hanley, the songwriters of Subspace Rhapsody. My Dabo round was the true Scotsman, Martin Quinn as Scotty. MVP character, the Aussie Jess Bush, playing Nurse Chapel. Sorry, it's terrible. Awkward Australian accent. And lastly, my favorite episode was Those Old Scientists.
Brilliant. Paige, recap your 5.
Hey, my production design element is the costumes, with the episode charades representing that. And then my favorite creative or actor is Babs Volusan for Under the Cloak of War. My wildcard Dabo round was the deepening connections between these characters that we've known for years. And my favorite character is La'an Noonien Singh for Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And then my favorite episode is Those Old Scientists.
Perfect. And my recap was, my production design pick was the musical, and the choice to do a musical, Subspace Rhapsody. And my round 4 pick for MVP creative was Ethan Peck for Spock and Charades. My number 3 pick was the just incredible extended character arcs across the season. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow is my pick. Number 2 was Nurse Chapel as my favorite character, The Broken Circle. And our number 1 episode across the board, Those Old Scientists, not a big surprise. Quick stat recap. We had 4 character shout outs. So we had 1 for Spock, La'an, and Babs, and then 2 for Chapel. We had 1 duplicate and 1 triplicate. And then for our episodes, man, we covered a lot, but we touched on 6 out of 10 episodes. So we had one pick for Under the Cloak of War, and then it's 7 out of 10. Under the Cloak of War had 1, and then 2 each for The Broken Circle, Tomorrow, Charades, and Hegemony. And then leading the way with 3 each was Subspace Rhapsody and Those Old Scientists. That's not a big surprise. The 3 episodes that did not get picked: Ad Astra Per Aspera, Among the Lotus Eaters, and Lost in Translation. So that is our statistical breakdown. We covered a lot. I'm trying to think what we might have missed, but I think we got most of it. All right, let's initiate a temporal inversion because now it's time to hear from you.
Initiate temporal inversion.
Initiating.
And for this week's temporal inversion, we're going to stay on theme tonight. We're going to go back to episode 157 and our Star Trek Picard season 3 moments. And we got an awesome list in from our buddy Ross Webster, who is on Twitter at STRTRK1701. That's Star Trek 1701 with no vowels. And he's still on Twitter, I think, kind of. And that is, has a fully compliant TrekRanks Matrix list here. So I'm going to rattle off really quick because some of these are so good. His production choice for Picard season 3, 5 words and a hashtag: meet the new look changelings, as in meet, MEAT, hashtag in the flesh, and it's the new look changelings. And his creative choice, the speaker and the voice, hashtag Vox Simul. It was Terry Matalis being a fantastic showrunner and engaging with fans through the season. I can't get over that meet the new look changelings as a 5 words and a hashtag. Brilliant. Dabo Round, he had Sun Shines from Spotless Mind, hashtag Data Lore. It's the return of Data. I love that. Character, villainous attacker, deranged, insidious changeling, hashtag Changeling of Command, and it's Vatic. And his number 1 episode, The Napoleons of Justifiable Crime, hashtag Hero Ship. And he picked The Bounty, which is one of my favorites as well. So fantastic list from Ross. I love it. So once again, those picks, more than enough to clear ourselves from this week's temporal inversion. So as always, I want to thank everyone for all your great responses to the TrekRanks podcast. Keep your list coming to me at TrekRanks on Twitter so we can retweet them. But we also want to hear from you. So put together your own list of top 5 Strange New World Season 2 moments or a list from any of our past shows. Give us a call at the Tricorder Transmissions at 609-512-5527, or you can just record your own list and then send me a DM. We can connect that way too, and you can send me the recording. So hopefully we'll hear from you so you can be featured on the next episode of TrekRanks and on the next episode of TrekRanks. Oh my God, I thought of this topic recently and I am so excited about it. I cannot wait to record it. So whenever a new season of Star Trek is starting, we try and align a topic on TrekRanks with the launch of that season. It's not really like a 1-for-1, but we just try to make it similar. So for Picard season 3, we did our Worf episodes. And a couple of months ago, we did our top 5 Vulcan episodes for the beginning of season 2 of Strange New Worlds. So coming up in a couple of weeks is the 4th season of Lower Decks kicking off. So with this crossover episode behind us and a whole new season of Lower Decks awaiting, our next TrekRanks topics, what we are going to do, I love this, it's our top 5 portals portaling in honor of the great Bradward Boimler getting portaled by the portal at the beginning of Those Old Scientists.
One of my all-time favorite portals. We're taking routine portal readings and making sure the portal area is free of any portal problems.
Stop! How are you so excited for some random portal nobody's ever heard of?
So Jamie and Paige, if you had to choose one example of a portal portaling off the top of your head, what would it be, Jamie?
I've just something that's just this is shameful, but can I pick the portal that Captain Janeway and I think Cass has to walk through in Sacred Ground?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
that's a kind of portaling, and
it's definitely a portal portaling.
and what fixes Cass? Is it hocus pocus, or is it science, or is it who knows what?
Who knows? That's a really interesting episode. One that 30 years ago I was not a big fan of, and today I am a big fan of it. I love it. Sacred Ground. Good pick, Paige. What portaling is in your mind right now?
Well, you got to go with City on the Edge of Forever.
Okay, the classic, of course. You cannot go wrong with the OG Portal. I love this topic. I can't even get my head around all the different ways to approach it. So, going to be fun. Thank you, Lower Decks and Mike McMahon.
Remember me.
Remember me.
Remember me.
So good.
Channel closed. Reset. Subspace communication. Scrambler code Riker 1.
All right. Scrambler code Riker 1 acknowledged. All right. We're going to close this episode out with a huge thanks to Jamie McGregor and Paige Thatcher. It was awesome having you guys on the show. So any final Trek Scrambler codes, either one you want to relay before we depart, Jamie?
Thanks, Jim. Always appreciate an invitation onto TrekRanks, an amazing season of Trek. And thanks, Paige, for joining us. It's been great chatting to you about it.
Yes, Paige, thanks for your TrekRanks debut. Really appreciate you reaching out and coming on the show.
Yeah, this was so much fun, and I am just so thrilled to have been here. Thank you for inviting me.
The first of many, I'm sure. Okay. Thanks, everyone, for engaging with us here on episode 164 of the TrekRanks podcast. As always, I want to close by saying I'm looking forward to standing with you again here in this place where I belong.
Okay, so one time Boimler dragged me to the Starship History Museum.
Dragged? You ran up to the doors.
No, I didn't. It was boring. I hated it. Anyway, so they had the NX-01 there, Archer's Enterprise.
Yeah, classic design. Plus it had, the grapplers.
Skip that part. They don't care.
I love grapplers.
See?
All right.
Anyway, later on in the tour.
Just want to remind everyone again that the entire TrekRanks catalog is available for you to download and listen to at TrekRanks.com and on your podcast player of choice. Our episodes never get carbon dated, so check out the topics you've missed and maybe just want to listen to again over at TrekRanks.com. And a reminder to check out our friends 5-Year Mission at 5yearmission.net. They're writing a song for every episode of Star Trek, and you won't believe how great their music is. They also have a podcast at the Trek Geeks Network, so seek them out. You won't regret it.
That was
something.
Yeah, it's just Sam being Sam. Sometimes he can be
frustrating.
James, meet our Chief Science Officer, Mr. Spock. Spock, meet James Kirk, First Officer of the Farragut.
Why don't you join us?
I know, but I just do. He does love it.